My coach probably should have never allowed the match because it would look like David versus Goliath. Heavyweight matches is kind of like, the dance of the teddy bears. And for whatever reason, I'm just bouncing up and down like a little Mexican jumping bean, not knowing why I'm doing it, but I saw all these other wrestlers are doing it. So I go, well, if they're doing it, maybe I should be doing it too. My opponent is out on the mat, and the referee looks right at my coach and goes, Coach, where's your heavyweight? My coach has got a clipboard on his chest, just like this. He's got his arms crossed. He doesn't even look at me. He just points over at me. Referee looks over at me, looks back at my coach, goes, are you sure, Coach? The match lasted about 20 seconds.
For sure.
Because as soon as referee blew the whistle, it's like he came across, crushed me, actually had to stop, turn back around, just to drop down to his knees, to sink a half, to get the pin.
Dan Severn is a UFC legend. He's in the UFC Hall of Fame, and I distinctly remember seeing him when I was 10 years old win UFC 5 back in 1994. Now, this was back before they had weight classes, and they were still trying to determine what's the best fighting style. And so the guys would come out, and it would be wrestling versus boxing or sumo versus capoeira. And it was really a spectacle, and the rules were way different. Back then, the only rules in the entire thing was no biting, no eye gouging, and no fish hooks. So you could hit in the groin, you could knee when they were down, you could do anything. And it's savage if you go back and look at some of his old fights. But I remember cheering him on because we knew wrestling was the best fighting style, and so he was our guy. So when we got a chance to go see him in Coldwater, Michigan at his house/training facility, we jumped at the opportunity. And we did the interview, and you're going to see inside the ring. And this gym, this facility, they don't make them like this anymore. And they don't make guys like Dan anymore. If you've ever seen any of the old Rocky movies where the gyms are completely analog and there's heavy bags everywhere and there's boxing gyms and speed bags and just mats all over the place, there's a specific smell to it that honestly I hadn't smelled in about 20 years, but all came back to me as soon as I walked in. In fact, we walked right in, I smelled the smell, and I instantly realized my shoes were on because you're not allowed to wear shoes on the mat. And I look over, and sure enough, there's a sign that says, take your shoes off before you come on the mat. So we got to talk to Dan, and we got to know him a little bit. And let me tell you, they really don't make him like this anymore. He's still wrestling. In fact, after we did the interview on Thursday, he was leaving on Friday to drive to Missouri to host a professional wrestling training camp. He's like 67 years old, and he still wrestles. And he did a headstand. He taught Austin how to do a headstand while we were there. And so he's one of the most single-minded people that's focused on being great at one thing that I've ever met. And so we got to learn a little bit about his life, his whole career. And if you're a big fan of the old UFC, as I am, I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. Welcome to the Austin and Matt podcast.
What's the hardest configuration you've ever fought in? Like, what's the hardest ring or?
Oh, I mean, it would be small things. I mean, there was, I'm trying to think the one, it was a dog kennel type of I mean, that's how small the cage was. And I think it was built out of dog kennel type of material. And all I know is that we just basically tore the whole walls down. The more I at that time, I'm probably 250, 260, who knows, maybe even up to 270. And, he's probably pushing anywhere from, say, 270 to 300 pounds. And we hit that and we crush it.
What are you at right now?
Oh, weight-wise, I'll probably be right around 230.
230?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
No, I've leaned out, but deliberately. I'm actually, well, who lasts longer? Do the big brontosauruses last? Or is it those little small animals, the smaller animals?
Yeah.
So again, I'm trying to eat and train for longevity. Even through the course of my day, I'll do one or two Googles of, again, what types of vitamins should I be taking for longevity? What kind of sleep habits? I violate sleep all the time because I think before you guys came back, I think I was up till almost 4 o'clock this morning.
Really?
I just couldn't shut down. I was actually in my office till probably 2. And then when I finally made it the lay in bed, I'm like, I could not shut down my mind.
Has that been typical for you historically to not get a lot of great sleep?
Sleep deprivation, yes, has been
Yeah.
historically in mine. Was at one point in time when I had a home in Owasso, Michigan. My wife and I was running a catering business at the time, and so that would be on the weekends. And so my last night sleep would be on a Thursday night. And then I would go through Friday night when I get off work, because I was working at Michigan State at the time. So by the time we get back to my place, I'm converting out a van. So I'm taking all the sheet stuff I tapped out, put in the shelving component units that I made customized for it, fill it all on up, because by 5 a.m. that morning, I got to be at the local butcher shop picking up meat, produce, and other things for things. And then we're going to be on location by 8 or 9 that morning. And now you're cooking for 3 to 400 people. My wife and I could take care of a party of up to 400 people by ourselves, the two of us. Now, I always tell people I've never been in the military, but I know what KP duty is all about. I have peeled thousands and thousands of pounds of potatoes.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm the guy that's usually over the burner cooking the meat. And people don't realize how much heat is getting off right there. So when I have one of the customers start to, I think we're, to start to, hit me with some kind of a comment I don't want to hear, it's kind of like going, you know what I could possibly do to you right now? You don't know how my day has been. And in fact, I won't go to sleep until early Sunday morning, because by the time we drive back from the party, I have to unload, reconvert back in my vehicle because of my normal job, but what I'm doing Monday through, so crash out.
How do you retain so much energy? What does your workout look like right now? How do you stay in shape right now?
Well, I have to say when I'm here, because I live a dual lifestyle.
Okay.
I'm here in Michigan for spring, summer, fall. And a lot of that has only come about because of the COVID caper. Does people remember the COVID, the C word?
That's
COVID.
right.
But Americans don't, because most Americans are stupid, or they're very forgetful. And again, I'm not from another
Short
country.
memories.
I'm not from another country. I'm from America. But people are so quick to forget, because it's like the cell phone. It's like, also it's like, ding, whatever they think about, ding, the Almighty is calling me, ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
You've trained so many athletes. Have you noticed that there's been a difference since the smartphone has been invented in the athletes that walk into the gym?
Yeah, of course.
How's it changed?
Well, again, as they come in, they all have cell phones.
Yeah.
And again, if they ring during class, it brings a great deal of attention that you don't want from me. I go, what's Coach Severn's rule in here? You mute your cell phone. I go, and your cell phone shouldn't even be in the first place unless you have a pregnant wife or a pregnant significant other, and you're expecting otherwise, for the hour and a half or 2 hours that you're here, leave that thing out in your car. I go, I don't even bring my own cell phone in here. Mm-hmm. I leave it up in my office. I go, if I could do that, I got way more going on than what you got going on. But it's like for the hour and a half that you guys are here, typically professional guys goes about for an hour and a half.
Do you think athletes are getting less mentally tough over the years, or do you think that it's pretty much consistent?
I'd say as a general whole, a lot less attention spans. Oh. Very, very difficult to get attention spans. They don't know how to do it. You may not know this, but I actually have a teaching degree from Arizona State. So but I was already teaching or coaching the sport of wrestling as of 9th grade. I'm a freshman in high school, but I already had been wrestling in 7th and 8th grade, and by my 9th grade year, now I'm going to these summer camps. Yeah. Well, my high school wrestling coach, he's long gone, but he stood about, Tom Castile was his name, and he stood about 5'5", 5'6", and weighed about 325 to 350 pounds. So again, he was built like a butterball turkey. And I'm not saying it to be mean, but I want to paint the picture that physically he could not come out on the mat to show you how to do a switch, how to do a stand-up, how to do a Granby roll. He could not show that to you, but he recognized talent inside the room. So if this guy over here had the best double leg, he taught the double leg. If this guy over here had the best high crotch front carry, he taught that. Severn, you went to camp this past summer. What'd you learn? Coach, I learned this thing called cradles. Well, come out here and show us cradles. And that's what helped really reinforce my technique and stuff like that, by going out on the mat and actually teaching. Well, your hand goes here, the other hand goes, you kind of push with your head like this, but the more that you start talking about it, you start to really think about what are the physical mechanics to where, I'm all about the physical mechanics now, how to impose the most pressure slash pain, legal pain upon my opponents so that I can break them.
How did you get into wrestling? Why was that the one you picked?
I sucked at basketball.
You sucked at basketball.
Well, again, I thought I was going to be a basketball star.
Yeah.
So I first started playing out basketball, but I found I was so bad that the basketball coach, put me on the bench. So there's me and the fat kid on the bench. And I kept thinking, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
So I was like, but then there was a flu epidemic. Again, this all happens in seventh grade. There's this big flu epidemic that hits that lots of kids are out sick. Well, there was supposed to be a dual meet that night. And I had a couple of my friends are like going, hey, Dad, can you come out and fill in a weight class for us?
And you've never wrestled?
Oh, I never wrestled before.
Just come on out and get on the mat.
But again, different times.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like, I'm the big, strong farm kids like going, oh, I've got no problem doing this kind of stuff. I'll get out there and do this. Well, I wrestled twice and I got beat twice. So, I mean, I felt bad because I let my friends out and stuff like that. I'm thinking, oh, wow, this is horrible. But I went back and finished up my illustrious basketball career. But then the next year, went out for wrestling and been wrestling ever since.
Did you take to it? Did you love it? How long until you knew that you loved
No,
wrestling?
I still sucked.
Okay.
Yeah. No, again, the cool part was when I finally won my first match. It's like going, it was really great. It's a great sensation to win. But I don't know if it was the fact that I won or that I found somebody that sucked worse than I did.
That's right.
Good. And so that's really what it boiled down to. It's like, not that I really was anything great. I just found somebody that was suckier. That's
Yeah.
all.
So was it more the drive to win? Or was it that the wrestling, the sport, kind of you took to it? What was it that
why I took to wrestling more than team sports? Because throughout my entire high school wrestling career, I played football. I was a 3-sport athlete. In the fall, I played football. In the wintertime, I wrestled. In the spring, track and field. But I had to deal with the track coach, knowing that if there was a Saturday track meet or a Saturday wrestling meet, he's not going to see me at the track meet.
Okay.
It is mad because I threw shot, discus. I ran high, low hurdles, 440-yard dash. I mean, for a white kid, I wasn't half bad at speed.
Yeah.
Especially when it came to hurdles. So.
And so you started, when did you start winning?
Well, I mean, I started winning in my first year.
Okay.
Well, no, freshman year. No, my freshman year in high school, I set my very first goal. And how that came about was the wrestling coach was also the government teacher. So one day when I was walking up to his desk to turn in a paper, I saw this stack of amateur wrestling news magazines that was sitting on the corner of his desk. I'm like, Coach, I said, do you care if I look through a couple of these magazines? He said, no problem. Go make sure they just come back up my desk. No problem, Coach. So I take a couple of these and I peruse through it. And that's when the world of wrestling opened up to me, because it talked about this magazine talked about nutritional type programs for wrestlers, diet programs for wrestlers, the mental aspects of training for wrestling, the psychological aspect, but it also talked about the setting of goals. There was so much information that I was like every other athlete at that point. I just did it just to be doing something. But now it's like going, oh, there's a lot more in depth to this. So one of the things I did on top of, starting to do exercise and other stuff, I set my first goal. I wanted to be the first freshman ever at Montrose Hill McCloy High School to make varsity, because nobody had done that before.
What was your weight class?
This will be the comical part that you enjoy. I weighed about 165 pounds, and most wrestlers think lose a little bit of weight and you're going to be this monster at this lighter weight class. So I went down to the 155-pound weight class, and you're not a monster. You're like, your cheeks, they're sucked in. You're feeling kind of pathetic, stuff like that. And as a freshman, now challenging sophomores, juniors, and seniors, there's a huge difference in skill sets, but then also physicality.
Yeah, developmentally.
Yeah, because as a freshman, you're just starting to hit puberty. Testosterone, that it's just starting to kick in. It's been kicking in for a couple of years. They got you by 2-3 years of that. It just they're way more seasoned. So I chose at the 165 pound weight class, got beat. Went up to the next weight class. Went up to the next weight class. Went up to the next weight class till the last person to challenge was the heavyweight. Heavyweight weight class at that point in time was unlimited. You can wrestle anything. There's a cap. There's a ceiling onto it now. And our heavyweight, I think, weighed, I'll say, right around, 270, 280, something
You were
like
165.
that. 155.
You were 155.
Yes. Yeah. I got down to.
Yeah, you cut.
And my coach probably should have never allowed the match because it would look like David versus Goliath.
Sure.
As we wrote. Again, as I always refer to it, heavyweight matches is kind of like, the dance of the teddy bears. It really is what it is. And I went out there and somehow the heavyweight tripped down over my feet. He fell down. I fell on top. I pinned him and I win. So I win the challenge. And I still remember to this day, my very first amateur wrestling match. My coach is standing right next. He's standing right at the mat side because we're waiting for this match to finish. And for whatever reason, I'm just bouncing up and down like a little Mexican jumping bean, not knowing why I'm doing it. But I saw all these other wrestlers are doing it. So I go, well, if they're doing it, maybe I should be doing it too. So I bounce up and down next to him, and my opponent is out on the mat, and the referee looks right at my coach. He goes, "Coach, where's your heavyweight?" My coach has got a clipboard on his chest, just like this. He's got his arms crossed. He doesn't even look at me. He just points, just like this, over at me. Referee looks over at me, looks back at my coach, goes, "Are you sure, coach?" My coach just goes, there was no attaboy, go get him, nothing like that. It's like it was a sheep being led to slaughter because the match lasted about 20 seconds.
For sure.
Because as soon as referee blew the whistle, it's like he came across the mat, crushed me. Actually had to stop, turn back around, just to drop down to his knees, to sink a half to get the pin. So as I tell people, I did not set the world on fire when I first started off, but I kept coming back again and again and again. I had a losing season, but I did win a number of matches.
And you made varsity as a freshman. You hit your goal.
Yes. I had farmers coming out of the bleachers, slapping me on the back, laughing and cackling like, "Dude, you're the funniest thing I've ever seen out on that mat." They're like, "You have no right being out there. They got these big old grizzly bears that are trying to swat you all around there. You're just darting this way, darting that way." He goes, "They're like, you look like a mosquito or a bee on an elephant." That's how small you are compared to them. And they just cackled and laughed and stuff like that. Again, I had a losing season, but I made varsity. I toughed it out. And that coming summer, I went back to my wrestling camps, clinics, things of that nature to again make myself better. But I all through that freshman year though, I started hitting the weights because I took in accord these were different weightlifting programs that these magazines talked about. So I had a gym class, or I would train after school, or I'd get to school early enough to where I could go into the weight room. We didn't have actually a designated weight room. At that time, the Universal Machine, I don't know if any of you guys ever saw, the Universal Machine was a square box machine, but it had 4 sides, 4 stations. You could sit down on a stool and you could do a military incline press. But then you could switch the bar back around, and then as it went back, it would ran down, and now you could throw a bench up there, and you could do a bench press. Yeah. So you had like multiple things. You had a lat pull down, and then a seated pull. And it had I think it was like 12 different exercises that you could do around the 4 different sides. But only 4 people could work out on it. And when you think most gym classes has about 30 to 35 people in it, well, most people weren't lifting weights. I was.
Where were you socially in the group in your school? What
group I hung out with? No, there was, as time progressed on, there's definitely what you call there's the geeks that were big time into the mathematics, and there with all these different types of clubs. There's people that were in the band. There's people that I didn't really hang with any of the groups. I basically kind of just kept to myself, and I've always been an observer of people. Just kind of sit back and I observe things because you can see good and bad and almost anything. So I tend to sit back and watch stuff. Uh, all kinds of funny, different comical stories growing up. Because you all had a study hall and that, and some of the gangsters I had at some of the study halls, and some of the people I encountered, that were seniors at that time. But it's yeah, I'll just say it's been an interesting trip. Yeah, but because of the internet and because of Facebook and that, a lot of the people that I knew at that time, because I was not the partier. So like I said, on a Friday night, the football game's over. These guys, they all want to go get shit face. I can't go get shit face. I'm going to go wrestle tomorrow. Or I'm going to go do this or that whole 9 yards. And first off, do you guys drink beer?
I don't know.
Okay.
Every once in a while.
Well, okay, but do you like the taste of beer?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, did you, in the beginning, did you like the taste
Not
of beer?
at all.
No.
Every dude I ever talked, they say it. I go, well, why did you drink it then? Because everybody wants to fit in. I would tell people the first time I tried cheesecake, loved it. Didn't have to acquire taste for it because it was you have to acquire taste. I don't buy that. So, like I said,
I think a lot of people drink to meet girls. So you weren't getting distracted by girls. You were focused on wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, again, I didn't seek out girls. Girls seeked out me. That okay? That almost sounds very braggadocious there, and I don't want it me to sound like that, but that's the way it did go down for me. It's high school. I got because I started to mature and come into my own and stuff. So I was just a well built, 185-pound wrestler. That the girls like, oh, well, look at that, yeah.
When is the first time you started sporting your mustache?
Well, I was probably in college.
Okay.
And probably over the course of a summer, something like that. I just thought, well, let's see what happens. I actually I've sported actually a full beard for about 4 years, probably during my coaching time at, I think, Michigan State. And then a couple of my buddies were starting to bust my chops. So I go, dude, you got to stop eating those white powder donuts. I go, what do you mean? I'm not eating a white powder. It's dropping down on your chin because my chin was turning white. I had a couple of spots of turning white that were prematurely. I was just getting gray
in your
hair.
20s, I guess. Yeah.
And it's like going, well, okay. I started coloring. It's like it got to be just too much, and then I shaved off the beard portion and just kept the mustache. I learned a lesson of that because my kids were young. And they only knew Dad with a beard. So when I came out, they're looking at me like they're scared. It's like, who are you? I should have had them in there with me so they could have witnessed me what I was doing. It's like, so any fathers are out there, if you're sporting a beard or a mustache and you decide to take it off and you got young kids, you might want to bring them in and watch you shave so they can see the transformation that's taking place before their eyes.
So you were dyeing your mustache though from an early age.
Oh, throughout my entire professional wrestling career, throughout my entire cage fighting career, the color of that hair, eyebrows, and mustache was just from in number 45. Even Don Fry, one time, he's with me, and he saw me just mad dashing through, I don't get it, might have been a Walmart, whatever store that was close by, convenient. And he's like, Severn, what do you need that you're so desperate for right now? And he sees me picking up 2 boxes of magic. I just referred to him as, I got to pick up a box of magic. He didn't know what it was. That day he sees he goes, hair color. I go, dude, it's the psychological edge. If you're inside of a cage.
Oh, yeah.
And you look across, you see a gray-haired, gray mustachioed guy, are you going to be intimidated? No. But if you keep it dark and dastardly, oh yeah.
When did you meet Don Fry?
Oh, he was Don Fry. I met him when I was coaching at Arizona State University. He was one of my athletes, but he also lived with a couple of my younger brothers. So I knew Don on a much more personal basis because I didn't have him just in the practice room. I also had him, I'd see him on whatever weekends that we weren't doing anything wrestling-wise. I'd go over to pick up my brothers because I know my brothers are starving. It's like, okay, we're all going to head to the local buffet. I go, Don, come along. I said, I can't leave you behind. There's no strays in this family here now. So it's like, I said, but you better do me proud. I said, don't be just eating 1 or 2 plates and stuff like that, think you're full. I said, you better stick with the herd here right now. So again, I've always busted his chops, stuff like that from the get-go again, but that's just part of me being the coach. Because even at that time, because I'm a single guy, I'm going out to the bars with the guys because they're inviting me. Do I drink? No. But I go to them because it's kind of going, all right, I'll go with him. I'll hang out with him for maybe like an hour or something like that. Then I vanish. I'm gone. So I go in there. I'll go out there. I'll dance a little bit or something like that. But then, I go in there. But that was the era that if 2 guys were going to fight, they'd be like, going, let's take it outside. They're not fight right there.
When was this? When,
again, we're talking about that
70s?
Yes, yeah. We're all talking about
70s.
that mid-70s.
Okay.
Again, I wrestled there from 76 to 81, and then from 81 to 86, then as a coach.
At Arizona?
Yes, for a solid decade,
Okay.
I was there. So, again,
And you were 3-time All-American, right?
Yeah.
3-time.
Yeah.
And then you graduated and continued coaching.
yes.
Or you stepped into the coaching role
but
after you
again,
graduated.
my salary at that time, I think I made like $3,000, $3,200 a year.
A year.
A year. Think about.
Did they
how
give
many-
you a meal plan?
Yeah, no, there was nothing with that.
Not even at the
so
university.
I basically worked a full-time job on top of this. I was working for a weightlifting company by the name of Olympic Enterprises. And I don't think it exists anymore because I know that the owner, he's long gone and that. But I was working for this weightlifting company at the time as my day job, Monday through Friday. But he always let me out. Each day, he always let me go early because I was a hard worker. Or I made a delivery. We had different distribution outlets around there, or I might be dropping off something in Tempe or something like that as I'm headed to practice. And I just basically get there in time, really just to suit up in my outfit. And then I'd be jumping into workouts and just helping to run practices or working out with the guys to push them along in their own different careers. Then when practice was done, I'd shower, something like that. Then I would go up in the office. Now I'm making, helping the coach then with whatever travel, upcoming trips, things of that nature. So you coordinate all kinds of planes or vans or however our mode of transportation and the whole nine yards.
So what happened after you started coaching? What made you stop coaching, and what did you get into after that? Because you were getting close to the UFC in the mid 90s, but this is the mid 80s.
Yeah, nothing ever stopped me from coaching. I mean, even now, just this past weekend, I had a couple father and a couple young athletes that I did a private. I will continue to coach and continue to help. It's
But you left Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
I left Arizona for a job at Michigan State.
Got it.
Yeah, that's really what it was. Made $20,000. Think about that. Oh. What a big move right there, going from $3,000 or $3,200, whatever it was, and now making $20,000. It's like I'm in the chips.
Life is good.
Yeah. Again, you have to go back in time because most people now they'd be like, "That's ridiculous." And I was living in married housing for close to for 1 year before I was looking for a house.
How old were you when you got married?
Gosh, I got married at 84.
84.
Yeah, 84.
Okay.
What was that? How old is that for you?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you.
What year were you born?
Yeah,
But you were
58.
at Arizona State, yeah?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm just curious because, like, I imagine when you start getting some star power, I imagine when you're going out with some of the fighters that you're going to attract women, and that would be like a temptation. But it seems like you were married pretty young, and you really just kept in your own lane. You didn't go fool around much. You weren't drinking to start.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm sober, stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah. No, it's like I said.
Did you never get FOMO? Like, you never had the fear of missing out when people are going to parties and things? You didn't care.
No.
You were focused on what you were focused on, and that's all you needed.
Well, think about this. Okay, when I was young and single, and she's a little tipsy, pretty easy pickings, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good strategy.
Well, again, it was no strategy, but I started realizing,
Yeah.
easy pickings
Yeah.
at that point. So
Right.
yeah.
So then you go to Michigan State, and how long were you coaching there?
I was there just for basically, I had a 2-year contract that didn't quite see the end of the second year because what I thought was a good move was not a good move.
Oh.
The head coach was involved in a lot of things
Oh.
that he probably should not have been involved in. And a lot of times, if you're the assistant coach, you must be involved in it as well. But Michigan State was kind of like the laughingstock of the Big Ten at that time. But then yours truly here, I was doing 2-a-day workouts with these guys so that the athletes would go, I'll be in there in the morning. Before any of your classes start, I'll be there in the morning. And we're going to put in 1 hour. It was running, it was drilling, because I was trying to whip these guys into some kind of shape. And if you didn't show up, you would wake up because somehow I got into your dorm room. And I'd be thumping you on the forehead. And I'd be like, and as you open your eyes and you see me hovering above you, I'm like, you and me, private training, let's go.
Did you whip the team into shape? Did they turn around?
Oh, well, we finished, I think, in fourth place.
Wow.
I'd be in the laughingstock of the Big Ten and to finish off in the top 4 in 1 year. That's quite a transformation. But they were seeing the success. So it worked out because actually success helps to breed additional success, because when you finally start getting a taste of it, it's like going, hey, we don't really suck. We got potential here. Then you're like going, now they're trying to get after each other. I don't have to be their conscious. They're keeping each other.
Well, it also attracts really good talent, because especially in wrestling, it's who you're wrestling. It's your training partners every day. And so as the program gets better, you're attracting better wrestlers, which now everyone makes each other better. It's like iron sharpens iron.
You keep upgrading each other is what you do. Because there's no other sport like it that we go out here out on the mat and we slap hands, stuff like that, and we get after it. It's like going, okay, you got the best me today, but guess what? I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, because you almost don't want to be the best in your gym, because if you're the best in your gym, you got to find a new gym sometimes. Because you want to keep leveling up with training with other people. So it is really a collaborative effort. It's so funny that wrestling is such a one-on-one sport, but in order for you to get so great to do one-on-one, it is the people around you. You can't just practice by yourself.
Exactly.
And it seems like you had a good grasp of how much cardio was important early on. What was it like in the 70s and the 80s? Were people as focused on technique or cardio?
Well, again, I just did both. But in order to be successful at anything, it's sort of a lonely path. I don't need other people to go run with me. I don't need other people to go lift with me. I don't need that rah shish kebab type of thing. I don't need it. We even stated me before we ever got the camera. I spent many lonely miles driving down that road, knowing that, I've had people say, I like to be a fly on the wall, just hang out with you for a weekend. I go, you couldn't hang. I go, I actually had a couple of people try, and I'm driving, and they're in the passenger seat, and they're sitting over there, and they're starting to do they're doing the pee-pee dance over in the seat, and they're like, Dad, are we gonna be stopping anytime soon? I go, yes, we will. When the car needs gas. He goes, well, how much gas left? I go, we got a half a tank yet. And they're over there. I go, and then we pull on in, and I go, we pull in. I go, as the car is filling up its tank, you go empty your tank. I'm gonna go empty my tank, and you better get whatever snacks, eats, and drinks you need, because the next time we stop is when the car needs gas. Comical note, I had a road trip with Don Fry. Oh, my God. Once. Won't happen again. We get maybe 30, 40 minutes down the road. He's like, I got to pee. I'm like, we just left your place. Like, pull on in. You got to pee. Get another 30, 40 minutes. I'm hungry. Why didn't you get some food? Pull on in. There's like, he didn't get his drink. So he had to stop and get a drink at another location. I might go, that was my last road trip. Because I don't do that. But everything is precision with me. Time. I'm so aware of time, knowing that I'm running out of time. I'm in the To the standard person, I'm in the third quarter of life. There's only 4 quarters. Okay, I'm in the third quarter because how many people, when you look at what is the average age of a male for the death tables, every insurance company knows about it because they don't want to give you any breaks right now. They know what the mortality rates are. Most men will perish somewhere in their if they hit 70 to 73, 4, somewhere in that range.
That's the median.
What's that?
That's the middle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Women usually latter 70s. They just outlive.
Smaller.
Yeah, well, I get the fact that maybe it's because men live with them long enough that they just take their own lives. Ask Don Fry about that. He'll simply tell you, get a prenup. That's his advice to most young people: get a prenup. So, but no, I mean it's. Again, that's just the death tables guy have different buddies that they run different insurance companies, and that's just what they are. I think. So,
how did you get into Greco? Because collegiate is, not Greco, and so
I did this all during my high school years. That
you did, on a side club
I started,
or something.
During the regulation season. That's folk style.
Yep.
And folk style is very close to collegiate style. Collegiate style. Oh my God! It bores me to tears to watch college wrestling. It just, especially riding type. I'm like, oh my God, put me out of my misery, just please. And that's what's tough. How do you popularize a sport?
Right.
They gave 1 more point for the takedown.
Yeah, it's now 3 instead of 2.
Whoop-de-doo-dah. Give more points on the pin. How many pins do you see in college?
Not many.
No, it's like the rare. It's like, watch, where's the rare dodo bird? Will we ever see it? No, very. It's like, you see all these scores being eked out, 3-2, 4-2, whoop-de-doo-dah. It just bores me to tears. The pin is ultimate victory. If someone, because you wrestled.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, if you got pinned in a match, and you're about to wrestle the same guy again, do you have positive thoughts going through your mind, or do you have maybe some negative, cloudy thoughts that are going through your mind?
Yeah, you're not really looking forward to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's why wrestling is both. It's a physical, but it's also a psychological. I was all about psychological warfare. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like ultimate victory, the pin. I always pushed for the pin. And that's where it led me to some incredible records through my high school career, knowing that, I got, during the summer months, when I started doing my freestyle and that, where I had to wait towards the end of weigh-ins. Because if I weighed in early and people saw me at 198, they would move to 220.
Oh, yeah.
Or if I'm at 220 and they can make 198, they go down to 198, or they go heavy because they simply know that I'm a very aggressive and physical pinner.
Where does that come from?
Again, stuff that I read.
It was from the magazines.
Yeah, again, just the magazines, but it talked about the psychological aspect. It never talked about the pin. But in my mind, I kept thinking, well, just like you said right now, because you wrestled. That's why I did. I'm not trying to leave you out, but the fact that you wrestling. If someone just beats you by a couple points, you're thinking, okay, I can just go back, hone my skills a little more, and I get better, and I can get you. But when someone physically mauls you and against your will pins you, they have stolen your soul. And I was like, like that mat. That mat is my real estate, and you've just trespassed. That's how I look at it. It's like going, my point now is I am going to make life so miserable for you. I'm going to drive you off my piece of real estate. And everything within my legal confines. And even some stuff that's pushing the boundaries of legality. Oh, I'm going to do.
Yeah, like what? Like what? What did you do that pushed the boundaries?
Well, again, there's a technique known as a collar tie. Where, you know exactly what a collar tie is. But basically it's where, most wrestlers, as they're getting close, you do like a shoulder post. What that does, it takes your weight off your toes and rocks it back on your heels. A wrestler can't shoot when his weight's on his heels. his weight's got to be on his toes, so he's in a forward type motion. So as you get close, just to be able to hit a quick little hit. I could do several things very quickly towards like I post both my hands. I will hit you and I'll pull you right back into where you rock back and forth. But then I come up with hit you with the clubber with a collar tie. But I did it so quickly, so precisely. But then I also knew, where am I hitting you with my collar tie? How am I? Am I doing it with a hand, a palm, or am I leading with the wrist bone?
That's right.
So there's a very popular sport out now, known that Dana White promotes it, slap fighting.
Power slap.
Yeah, power slap.
Yeah.
So it's like going, what's your thoughts about power slap?
Oh man, I mean, I've seen it when it comes through my feed, but I don't get it. I don't get why everyone's voluntarily getting hit in the face by huge men.
Have you seen it there as well?
It looks like a quick way to lose some brain cells to me. That's what it looks like.
It looks like a great way to feel terrible for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and you get 3 chances, but
there's no defense. It's crazy.
But Dana White says how much safer he has made. And you just say there is no defense. Like in wrestling, you can sprawl.
Yeah.
In fighting, I can at least counter
push you
strike.
back.
Yeah,
yeah.
But here I have to simply I can't suck my
No.
I got to keep it out here.
Yeah.
And you got to let the guy basically size it up, wind up.
Perfect. Hit you perfectly.
He gets 3 swings to like put it on there. Okay, now
I can't believe it.
But this is the way the diabolical mind of Dan Severn, how it works. I'll get into it. I'm not gonna compete. I'm gonna be a coach.
Sure.
And I'm gonna go get me several athletes, but I'm going to recruit basketball players. Why do you think I'm gonna get a basketball player?
The hand size.
Big hands, long arms.
Huge hands.
Both
long arms.
Okay, think about that. First off, most people, but basketball players, the fact that they could dunk basketballs and stuff like that, they've got this wingspan.
Yeah.
So now when they size up and they're going, do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do, 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 do. By the time they wind up, they palm a basketball.
Yeah.
So when that thing hits you, it's going to cover. And if you could teach them how to lead with that palm and all, I see nothing but knockouts.
Yeah.
You heard it all right here, folks. Coach Dan is telling you how to become a champion. If you're not a basketball player, maybe you shouldn't get into
Power slap.
Yeah, power slap.
How did the UFC first contact you? How did that come about? Because you had so many accolades, you were in wrestling, and I remember being 10 years old and watching you in UFC. I remember you winning because we had the whole wrestling team over, and we all chipped in $5 and ordered pizzas and got the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And at that point in time in the UFC, it was all about what fighting style is the best fighting style. So it was wrestling versus jiu-jitsu, or I remember sumo wrestlers versus capoeira, and it was like the early days, and we were all cheering for you because we were the wrestling team.
But there's 2 categories. There are strikers and there's grapplers.
That's right.
There's the 2 categories. And when they ask me, what's your fighting style? I go, I'm an American wrestler. Well, they had never heard that before, so they just put down wrestling.
Yeah.
But it's like, I didn't know fight style. And I only trained for 5 days.
You trained for 5 days before that?
Yeah.
You were already probably in shape.
For UFC 4, I trained for 5 days. For 5 days where I went over from Coldwater, Michigan, I went over to Lime, Ohio, to Al Snow's gym.
Yeah.
Because they had a ring. I didn't have a ring at that time. And I trained because Al and he had a couple other professional trainees. I was able to get into a ring, so they had some kind of a confined area. And they wore boxing gloves. So they're trying to hit me and punch me and stuff like that with boxing gloves on. And I'm bare knuckle, like, Dan, don't hit me. I go, I will never hit you. But I'm on a parry. I want to parry your guys' hands and get 2 clinches. Because they have to be within arm's reach in order to punch, legs range in order to kick and stuff
Too
like
close,
that.
and they all crumbled.
Yeah,
man.
but if I could get to a clinch, if I could clinch them or jam, again, I'm in a professional ring, so I either have to jam them up against the ropes or take them down or clinch them out in the open. The moment I did one of those 3 things, I neutralized 90+% of their arsenal, and my arsenal is just commencing.
Did you have any idea of the opponents you're going to face and their styles?
No. Again, that's you have to go back in time. That was like the great unknown. Again, fast forward to today. how many current athletes do you think could handle the pressure of knowing that you're going to show up on a Friday night and you're going to meet the other 7 contestants for the first time on a Friday night there's not a weigh-in because there's no weight class.
There's no weight classes.
It's a press conference. So at the press conference, they'll say, athlete number 1, please stand up. Athlete number 1, Ken Shamrock, he stands 6 foot whatever, he weighs this much, this is what his fighting style is, sit back on down. Opponent number 2, Hoist Gracie, okay, he's this tall, and that's all.
That's it. That's all the research
that's
you
all
got to do.
That's all the information, and no one's taking notes.
And you found out on Monday that you were doing this on Friday, basically.
Did you know about any of them before you got there? Had you heard of Hoist Gracie or none of them? Incredible.
No, I mean, I spent too much time in my training camp.
Right. Yeah, your 5 days.
An hour and a half a day.
What was the interactions between you guys like? Was it already fiery?
It was, to me, I'm cordial about all this kind of stuff because I've been at all these different wrestling terms.
Sure.
I might bump them. I'm courteous. So, whatever happens here, that's a whole different program. Was what's on that mat, inside that cage, whatever happens there, that's just business. I'm not going to be like that. You can't be wired like that all the time. Otherwise, you're going to be in jail. Okay. If you're walking around. No, you can't walk around like that all the time. No.
That's right.
Yeah, got to be chill.
Did anybody stand out to you in the first press conference?
I mean, again, not really. I mean, again, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. At this, like I said, this is my first UFC. First one, you want to find out how I got into it. There was an elderly woman by the name of Phyllis Lee. She's long gone, but she was a person, because there's been 3 different ownerships of the UFC. So Art Davie was the businessman that came up with the idea of this cage type of fighting. Art's still alive. He even wrote a book, Is This Legal? And because it was banned so much as like going,
I remember they had to find specific states that would allow it because so many states said they wouldn't host it. Their organizations wouldn't do it.
Fast forward to today, now they have bidding wars.
They're all fighting to get it.
Yeah, because they simply know that when the UFC comes in, it's like a Super Bowl. How many millions of dollars of income is going to hit that area? Because everyone's going to be seeing it, restaurants, hotels, the whole 9 yards. So,
But I remember there was this lore. I mean, because it was illegal, it almost, as a spectator, you're like, dude, we're getting to watch something that's illegal. They had to go to Vegas. They had to go to Nevada to actually make this legal. Like there was this.
It's like a cockfight. It's like, are we supposed to be here?
Yeah, that's right. Is this okay? Like we're streaming it over here. We couldn't even do it here. Like there was like an appeal to it in that regard. I even think that helped it in some ways, where everybody, is this legal? Is such a.
Oh, that's good. They was book, and again, I think it did very well. I never read the book yet. I probably should say that there.
That's all right. Did they pay you to do that fight? Well, the first time you came in, what did they?
My guarantee was $1,000.
Really?
And for $1,000, I signed this contract that stated in fine print at the bottom, in the event of your accidental death, they're not liable. I'm thinking, well, there's no rules. It's like, what's accident? There is no accidental here. There's no rules.
So you got $1,000 for the first time you went in there.
No, that was
guaranteed.
That was
the guarantee.
Guarantee to
That's
step
right.
inside the cage.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But I think they were doing $50,000 purses.
Okay.
At the point.
Right on.
Yeah. So that time frame. That's a couple years worth of salary. Right
Absolutely.
There, easily. Like I said, I'm working at Michigan State. Got.
That's right.
I want to know any memories you have from that UFC 4 that first time being in the ring.
Well, I mean, if I've kept journals. So I've got journals from all the way back then that, like my planners. I've, as I said before, the fact that I've been living on planners for so many years, I've got all these planners.
It's a record.
From those times. So I've got actual recollection where I could tell you where I was at. 92, 93, 94, on up. I don't keep my planners now, because it's just mass chaos, but it doesn't have nothing to do with competition in that. That was all about competition. unless, do you think they're going to bring back senior citizen MMA? You know,
Oh my gosh.
that could be very
Are
complicated.
you interested?
A
If they do,
seniors
are you
league.
interested?
Well, not slap fighting, but you know, but they may have to come up with new rules like can't kick any of the prosthetics.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
because you
right.
hate to see someone's artificial limb go.
The bell's
flying
gonna have to
off.
be way louder.
Well,
They
wait,
can't, yeah,
hearing
that's right.
aids.
Yeah,
But
huh?
they don't have to have mouthpieces because they take their dentures out and just set them over the side
Yeah.
right there.
Ring girls have to be over 50. Is that what we're saying?
Well, yeah, they can't. Yeah, no. No, that's
Yeah, right.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Where gravity takes its toll after all.
Yeah, right.
You want younger ring girls, but yeah, okay.
So after UFC 4,
Did you guys think you'd have this much fun in an interview?
No.
Okay, all right.
This is incredible. By the way, incredible ring. We did not
Yeah.
know what we were walking into, and this is just an incredible setup. Like it's a.
You went through a time warp.
Yes.
I'm getting flashbacks. It's like being in an actual mat room with all the gear. I mean, I haven't smelled this smell in 25 years.
Yeah.
And so it just instantly hit me when I walked in. Yeah. It's incredible.
No, we're good.
Okay, so after UFC 4, how much I'd love to know more about.
Again, I trained only for 5 days for that. So, for my next one, UFC
Yeah.
number 5, I took out all of. It was either 30 or 32 because, like I said, I only ever did 2 training camps,
Yeah,
30 or 32 days.
sure.
So I did at that point. I actually left my family behind,
Okay. And you went into camp.
and I went to camp.
Yeah. What did that look like?
in Arizona? Oh, it was again a lonely
Was
trail.
it, and was it a lot of wrestling, or did you then bring in jiu-jitsu, or like because you knew now Hoist is there, and like
Well,
how much did you start learning other styles, or was that not that wasn't an
No,
intro?
no.
That wasn't,
I just had bodies and lots of bodies. There was
Okay.
a Sunkiss wrestling program, so I worked out with some of the wrestlers because the Sunkiss wrestlers, because they're some of the most world class wrestlers. So
Yeah,
that's
Sunkiss
how
is
I was getting my good cardio working with them. But then I was doing all kinds of running. I was doing my lifting. I
never did you work on striking at all?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, you did. So
So
you
I did a couple nights a week. I would have, I believe it was either 10 or 11 sparring partners,
Okay.
and they were all there to where I would be on again a matted type area, and they've got the gloves on, and they got shin pads on because they're trying to kick and punch me.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm just basically, and I'm out there. I've got boxing gloves on, so that, but I'm basically throwing like professional wrestling punches.
Sure.
I'm not hitting them because I don't want to hurt them. I need them. So again, I'm just throwing things out, but then I always got the clinches, I always got the takedowns. So
That was
once
the
I'm
strategy.
taking down, it's a little bit harder when you try to throw on headlocks and cradles and arm bars and cross faces. But I'm simply slapping on amateur wrestling moves and turning them a little bit illegal. Most amateur wrestling moves hurt to begin with.
That's right.
Because it's the principles of leverage. Another word that goes along with leverage is it hurts when someone's torquing your shoulder, throwing a deep half, or they got a power half on or something like
Yeah.
that. So again, that's all I did was, but then there was times when I would be out on the mat and I would be laying in different positions. I might be laying sunny side up,
I know.
over easy, and curled up on one side, and again, I would close my eyes, and then you would come in, and you could come in any direction you wanted, north, south, east, west, or hover on top and just drop. But the name of the game was the moment you touch, game on.
Yeah.
It's simulated striking and all submission grappling based. So again, that they're not getting hurt. I'm not getting hurt,
Sure.
but but I'm just going for touch. So again, that was my training camp.
Okay. 32 days. 32 days.
Yeah.
For UFC 5.
Yes.
Okay.
And I set a record. Shortest tournament victory, disposition of 3 men in one night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was I mean, multiple matches in a single day, within hours was so
The
incredible.
pay-per-view was 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it had to be done. Yeah.
You're just turning back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also was helpful because if you dispose of your earlier opponents quickly, then you got more energy for the finals,
Yeah.
and you hope that the other guy had a tough match in the semis.
No, you do. And that's where literally your match could be done because you don't have no internet. There's no that you see. So you're basically your match just got done. So as you're over there drinking whatever post fight electrolytes, whatever, to put back into your body. You're actually staying out there watching the fight unfold, hoping that you can see it. Actually, like learn some tidbits here real quick, because in about 10 minutes or 50 minutes from now, you're going to be back out there probably.
Yeah.
What did you eat? What did you drink back then?
Again, I just had whatever. I had some type of electrolyte type of a liquid, but then I always had like some little snacky little things that I could put into. So no, I'm putting in some kind of nutrition so
Banana or
that I
something.
have keeping the fuel tank full of fuel. Even also my amateur wrestling thing, I'd be brown bagging it then, but then I'd have different types of snacks and stuff like that. But I probably ate a lot more junk at that point, because I might have been having like a bottle of Gatorade, might have been like the treat type of thing that I'm just doing a little bit of sip here and there, but always had like a thermos with water, because I was really big about hydration. But then like, the Gatorade might have been the old kick up juice that kicked you up a little bit more. But then having, maybe 3-4 sandwiches in there, cut in halves, because you can't eat a whole sandwich before you're in between matches. So it's like, maybe eat half of one sandwich, wrap it up in the rental wraps, and then throw it back in.
Who went to the matches with you?
I travel sometimes. Again, talk about
to the UFC matches.
Okay,
So
UFC matches. Well,
who generally went with your crew?
I had a couple buddies that helped out. Well, if it was close, they could travel.
Okay.
Because
Sure.
again, it's all cost factors, because they're not flying everybody in. The UFC was.
You paid your way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So I mean, there was.
Did your family go?
No, my family. I never told my family.
No.
No, my brothers, sisters, no, none of them knew that.
You never told them that you were going into the UFC fights?
No, my parents never knew about. It's like my parents worried about me when I was in high school. You think I'm gonna tell I'm gonna climb into a cage?
You're gonna go cage fighting?
No, no, I'm not.
So they found out after the fact.
Yeah,
They found out after you won that you won.
The internet type stuff, started getting a little, or word of mouth.
What did they call you after? Were they like, why didn't you tell us? Or I'm glad you're okay. Do you remember any interactions with them
Well,
after?
I mean, there's been a lot more comical type of things. Again, as you even say that, what dawns on me at one point is like my father, because I is having a conversation with his son, and I have 7 other siblings. There's 8 of us, so, and I'm the second on the totem pole, second born. The cool part is all 5 males went to college on a full athletic scholarship, and all 3 females basically went to college on almost a full academic. So I always tell people I'm an athlete with a brain and not a dumb jock. And trust me, I have encountered a lot of dumb jocks. I'm like, dude, it's a good day that you can run with that pig skin, or it's a good day that you can put that orange ball through that hoop, or it's like, you don't have much else going for you.
Yeah.
Were you a reader when you were young?
I don't really think I was. I mean, I've always been a good observer of people. Maybe that's again came along as as I started learning more about the sport of amateur wrestling, because I read so much more about that than anything else. But it did talk about, again, that whole psychological aspect, but then the nutritional aspect. So it just showed me more and more about life. Like growing up on a farm, we had a 120 acre farm. So we had to till crops, during in the spring you planted, and then in the fall you harvest. But you also had animals. We had both crops and we had animals. And so every day, twice a day, you had to take care of the animals. And one of my jobs, because you named the animal, we had it, and you learn real quickly not to give the animals pet names, because sooner or later they're going to end up on your plate.
Don't name the cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I milked Peggy the milk cow for I think 4 years, something like that. And then, when Peggy's milk gave out, well, Peggy was turned into hamburger. I still remember that day that, all of us kids were at the dinner table. We're all like, boo, oh, poor Peggy. And my dad's like, oh, Peggy never tastes so good. But that's,
It's farm life.
Yeah, it is. It's farm life. And a lot of people, they go to the grocery store and they pick up their hamburger. They pick up their pork, this, that, their roasted chickens, and they don't realize that was a living animal.
Well, we've talked about this, about how, I don't think many people these days are around death that often, because we've outsourced, we go to the grocery store and it's just a piece of meat. And so we don't actually see
Yeah.
death that much in our life. And so it is interesting how being on the farm, it's just a part of being on the farm is things you gotta butcher things and get rid of them. And
usually in like fall, in the spring we might have, let's say between 400 and 600 chickens. Yeah, there's a chicken coop, and then there's a fenced in area around the chicken coop, because it's always good to have the chickens go out into the dirt and stuff like that. It's just good because their digestive system is a gizzard, and it helps break down their food. They'll have like rocks and other kinds of stuff, pebbles inside their gizzard area. Why I know all that, because I've had to butcher and gut them, but then on like. Especially when you get to fall, you're going to thin that herd out really quick. And so on one particular weekend, we might take out maybe 100 chickens.
wow.
Towards like one after next, you just grab them by the legs, grab them by the wings, bring it on over. The other one just pulls the neck on out. Take out the head, throw it on there. Head still squawking over there. You throw the other chicken off the side and grab the next one. And you heard that expression: run around like a chicken with the head's cut off. Chickens will run around with the head cut off. Yeah, so I've witnessed that firsthand. So that's not just a word.
It came from reality.
Yeah, it came from reality. Even as I tell that story to you, I can smell the boiling water that you dip the chickens in to help get the feathers off, to pluck all the feathers, because you have to pluck all the feathers. You don't just pull them on off. You have to soak them a few times, and then you start peeling off all that. Like I said, just one day we'll knock off that many chickens, but my parents, for having 8 children, in the basement we had a full 8-foot deep freeze. We had a refrigerator downstairs. Out in the pole barn, there was another 2 8-foot deep freezers. So we always had maybe 300-400 pounds of beef at all times, and probably, who knows, 30, 50 chickens that are inside there. So we ate well.
Yeah. Did you end up selling the rest, or was it all? Was it just for the farm, or did you? I mean, that's a lot of chickens. Did you end up like selling them out to other families? No. That was for you guys every year.
Consumption.
And
yes.
You said, how many siblings did you have?
Well, again, there's
5 boys.
You got
3 girls.
Okay, but if you throw my father into the mix, okay, because now you got 6 males, 6 foot or better, 200 plus pounds or better.
Yeah.
Even one sister's at 6 foot height. Other 2 were just slightly a little underneath that. It's still around that. Again, there's like, I remember bringing friends from either Arizona State or Michigan State. They would come over to the farm, and my mother would be putting out a platter of potatoes, a platter of chickens, a platter of beef or whatever like that. And they're like, oh, what's the occasion? I go, lunch.
Dinner.
Well, even breakfast. Breakfast on the weekend, it was, everyone had a job. Your job, you might man the toaster, knowing that you got to knock out at least a couple loaves of bread, toasted and buttered. I'm over there cracking eggs. You're the ones that's dropping them in there. You're whipping up the scrambled eggs. Someone else is dicing up potatoes that's going in, because you got potatoes, eggs, toast. I mean, we ate and real milk, because Peggy was kicking out about 5 gallons of real milk. And there's if you let
A
milk,
day? 5 gallons? How?
you're milking it twice.
Dang. 5 gallons a day, 1 cow?
Yeah, well, I'll say close.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I mean,
it may not always be
around there. Yeah.
okay,
Even
close enough.
still.
But as milk sets, there'll be a top layer of really heavy, thick cream. And you take that off, and my mother would actually make butter out of it.
Yeah.
But she even would at different little classrooms that she'd go in with an old-fashioned butter churn and let all the kids, work the butter churn there for a little bit right there. And then she'd have all these little muffins that she baked up either the night before or something like that. So each kid would have a little baked muffin with real butter onto it.
Whoa, that's good.
Where was the farm? Where did you grow up?
New Lothrop.
New Lothrop.
Again, it's right on the borderline, because there's even a great story about that. It's on the border between 2 different school districts, right on the border. It's on a 3/4 mile dead-end road. Dead-end road now. Dead-end road when I was there and living in that. But the road used to go through. But there was a bridge that got washed out And the counties came up with some type of special ruling that whoever lived on this road could go to either or school, could either go to New Lothrop School or Montrose School. And on that road, there was the Eisenhower family. They had like 13 kids. My father, okay, my mother, father, okay, we have 8. There was even up on M13, there was another family, the Ruddy family, I think they had like 12.
Wow.
So again, I always tell people that when we played football, we had first string, second string, and even some third stringers. We're playing football. But no, it was, growing up on a farm, it teaches you responsibility because you have to get your chores done in the morning. As my father said, son, do you like to eat? Well, yes, I do. So do the animals. Twice a day. Once in the morning before you go to school, and once at night. Now, once at night, if you're a regular student that is not involved in athletics, you're getting out around, 3 o'clock? Which is no big deal. But if you go to an away game, let's say a football game, it's away, you're coming back, or a wrestling meet that's away, or a track meet that's away, and you're coming back and it's 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Got to feed the animals.
Still got to feed the animals. Still got to milk Peggy the milk cow.
Wow.
Yeah. Otherwise, and she's letting you know because she's moving because she's in pain.
Yeah.
Because she's used to having her udders, her tank lessened out as well.
Is the farm still in the family?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's cool.
Ironically, it is. Now my grandfather owned it originally. My father was, in his words, he was the last twinkle in his father's eye. So my grandfather owned it. My father owned it. Now all 8 of us own it. So, and it's we have to have a little meeting, a little powwow, because none of us are getting any younger. I don't know how that works like that, but we're all getting older. Well, we have to know is what happens to your shares once you're gone, and that has to be addressed. So I want to turn the place into a business or a corporation. That's what I do. So it's easy. So you just have X number of shares of yours, and it gets paid out to your.
Well, I've heard you also own an island. Is that true or is that not true?
Yes.
Is that right?
But okay, Howell, Michigan. I always usually tell people I have a waterfront property because I wasn't in there to simply don't stuff like that. But it's like, but there's so many comical type of things that I go, yeah, I own an island. It's referred to as Gilligan's Island. If you ever watched the sitcom right there, I'm usually Gilligan, and my wife is Skipper. She tells me what to do all the time. Yeah. I get hit with a hat every now and then too. So, but no, it's cool because it's roughly 3/4 of an acre island, and I never owned a boat before other than a canoe that I would use to take my kids out fishing down in the cold water area. And then now I'm doing this, I go, we first time ever owning a pontoon boat. Now you'd think that, like, if you own a car, you have to have a driver's license. Mm-hmm. You actually have to take a test, show your proficiency. Not with a boat. Any idiot can own a boat. And I say it like that because there's a lot of idiots that do own boats that they don't understand. You're supposed to stay away from each other by a certain distance. You're supposed to stay away from the shoreline by a certain distance. You're supposed to stay away. There's just proper etiquette.
Well, you're also supposed to be drinking if you're driving a pontoon boat, and you break that rule. So, they are. You go up there on a holiday. There's one festival they have right there. It's called Flock to the Rock. There's this one big rock that you can see in the water, but it's very shallow. So you got all these pontoon boats that are tied up with each other, and the water might be up to your waist. Is about high as it is. And everyone is out there drinking, but there's no restrooms. There's no restrooms. And they're out there all day because they had all their eats and drinks and the whole 9 yards. It's like, and some people bring their kids. I go, I would not be.
If kids, I'd be way out on the perimeter here right now because kids want to go underwater. Yeah, that's called pee-pee water. Yeah.
Well, as we were driving into Michigan, I wanted to ask you about this. We saw a lot of marijuana signs. That feels like something that's probably changed over the years.
On the border, right there.
On the
'cause
border.
It's right on the border. Well, no, it's throughout Michigan to begin with, but right on the border there, they're just vying for. It's even you'll see difference of. In 1 mile, you'll see a difference between gas prices too.
Yeah.
Because each state is just a little bit different on their gas prices. As I travel east to west or west to east, I always look at where's my best gas prices.
Yep.
Missouri is always a winner. I don't know why. How Missouri is always the cheapest gas I find. It's kind of like the moment I get into that state, I want to fill up. And just as I get ready to leave that state, I want to fill up again.
Yeah.
Even though I still got plenty of gas to keep on going. No, because it's the cheapest gas.
What is your experience with the cannabis industry coming in to Michigan? Do you think it's been like a net positive or a net negative, just from the way you've observed it?
You know,
or has it been nothing? Has it been neutral?
I mean, I look at, well, again, I have different people trying to bring me into the cannabis industry.
Oh, they want to partner with you on businesses.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of like going, what are the benefits? Because I view cannabis the same way as drinking. If you're drinking, don't be driving.
Sure.
Drink at home, party at
Responsibly.
home. I could care less. If you want to get shit faced, then stay home. Same way I'd smoke it up.
Yeah.
Especially if it's THC content, stuff like that. You don't want to be behind the wheel.
Right.
Okay, there's a lot of health properties to marijuana. And so it's like, if it can help ease pain and that comfort, I'm all for it.
I've seen a lot of athletes using it to train sometimes.
Yeah, again, I won't say about that. Again, I've witnessed all kinds of athletes doing all kinds of things that I'm thinking, well, if that works for you,
Yeah. Fair
Again,
enough.
but it's like, a lot of athletes, once they're done, they want to drink a beer or two and, smoke a fat boy, and then or the bong.
Yeah.
Well, actually, at one point in time, is it up there?
Did you have one?
Oh, I've got a bong.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't smoke.
Yeah. Someone
But
gave you one or something?
But yeah, I got a couple of presents. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put them up with the trophies.
Exactly.
See if anybody notices.
That was that smoke-a-thon that was involved there. Yeah. I smoked a bale of weed that day. Yeah.
Yeah, we had that father-son.
Boy, you should have seen. I had the munchies. but no, that's usually one my comical lines. They're like, dude, one thing. They're like, but the guy's like, oh, Dad, you're being a pussy. So, no, it's not. I'm being a pussy. You go, I'm not into it. I go, can't you just respect the fact that I don't want to? I'm not into it. But I always would tell them, especially early on, I go, I like to eat. And I go, and if I'm in your home and I'm smoking up a joint there with you, and then all of a sudden I tear the refrigerator door off its hinges because I'm going to be the carnivore that's looking for something to eat, and your cupboards get all trashed up because I got the munchies, well, that's on you. Because you had to have Dad smoke a joint. So again, I use comedy because it gets me out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've used comedy a lot throughout my life.
Did you ever have any involvement with UFC, the business? Like, was there ever opportunities to partner into the business, or or were you predominantly just an athlete that they hired to kind of be?
That's all I really was.
That was it.
Yeah, just really was an athlete. Although I think there's some real opportunities there that they have not put together yet. I won't discuss here in public right now, but if there's any financial people out there with very deep pockets that want to start up an MMA company, I've got the perfect tool that will, or outlet that would overtake it.
Oh yeah, man. Let's talk about that after we go offline.
Oh, right. All right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Might be a part
sounds
two.
great.
Incredible.
So then you're in the UFC. You win the Ultimate. You win UFC 5. Super fight with Shamrock. You got the poster. And then what happened with the WWF?
My first career was professional wrestling. That was
Before?
I was doing professional wrestling before doing anything.
Oh,
Tough Man would be the second thing that I did.
okay.
The UFC did not exist until December 93.
Right.
And even then, there was no pay-per-view. In order to see a pay-per-view, back then, pay-per-views were only in major cities. So if we're down in Coldwater, Michigan, there's not here.
You couldn't even get it.
You go to like Grand Rapids, you go up to Lansing, you go to a major city, Detroit, you go to a major city, and it will be playing at a movie theater. Now, people are going to be watching this and going, what? Because they're so used to. Fast forward to today, you can watch a pay-per-view right on your cell phone. Even back then, when the cell phone was just coming into its own, there would be people at the UFC show. The video telecasted to their network.
Yeah.
People are paying to watch the pay-per-view off of their stream versus paying the UFC. So again, there was there's a lot of things that a lot of different encounters that the UFC had to go with it. There's this way that you can black out an area within a certain, maybe 50 miles of the city. No one has the right to be. So people are going to travel in because, people can't wait until it comes out. It's a blockbuster video. they want to see now.
Yeah.
Because that's what the cell phone really is. I need to see it. I need to see it now.
So then, okay, so you pro wrestling pre-UFC.
Yes.
And then into UFC.
Yep.
And then how did that lead to Vince McMahon? How did that lead to the WWF?
Well, once I was, I was doing a professional wrestling, but then I started getting to be known more and more in the professional wrestling circle there as well, because I continued.
Did you have an agent?
The only agent I really had was, again, this one elderly lady, Phyllis Lee, who was gone. But she was the one that diligently, to the point of excessively, kept calling Art Davie. Literally, the first time I finally met Art Davie, it was at a professional wrestling show. And I could almost tell he was annoyed. I'm just meeting him for the first time. He's annoyed at me, but only because of Phyllis Lee. Because she called him. Again, this not call off of a cell phone, call off of a landline.
Yeah.
Because cell phone didn't really exist at that point. So she just made so many phone calls that he finally came out and watched me at a professional wrestling show. So I'm there wrestling at a professional wrestling show. I think I was wrestling Hawk from the Legion of Doom.
Oh yeah, right on.
So I come back and I meet Art Dave for the first time, and so he's like, he's not in a good mood because he's been dealing with Phyllis, and now he starts asking me, well, so what's your amateur fight record? Well, I don't have one. What's your professional fight record? Oh, I don't have one. Well, what's your amateur fight record? I don't have one of those. I go, well, what are your skills? Well, I'm a wrestler. He goes, and he's like, he's almost ready to like take a walk. At that point, I said, and I'm like, well, Mr. Davie, I said, maybe I don't have actual combat experience the way you think I should have. I go, but I've been to every third world country that has had a wrestling program. I go, I've been on mats that I've watched a couple of your matches that you put out. I go, they're tame compared to what I had to endure in a sport of freestyle or Greco, because they're not doing folk style. They're doing freestyle or Greco. Mm-hmm. But because there's 3 referees, there's a main referee that's in the center of the mat that's with you, and then there's a side judge over here and a side judge over there, because always looking for confirmation. Was that a 1-point takedown? Mm-hmm. Was that a 2-point tilt? Was that a 3-point tilt? That's what they're looking for points, knowing that the Russians don't like Americans.
Yeah.
There's always been this headbutting. But it's kind of going, but it's our politicians that make this headbutting. I've been to Russia a number of times. I've got people that email me still to this day from Russia that they're born and raised because they had a preconceived idea of what an American was like. And they just couldn't believe how nice I was, how polite I was, but then how astute I was to the game of wrestling or submission grappling, because I conducted some seminars in Russia. And then I had all these dignitaries Again, just in a little room that were just kept asking me question after question. And I throw a little bit of humor here. Then because I know that humor goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
It's always good to get people to laugh a little bit, smile, and then you don't seem like you're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. I said, guys, I'm not here. I have no agenda. You guys invited me to come over here to do this, teach you something like that. I will gladly. I go, as I teach out there, I like people to ask questions, so that if I'm walking out there to teach, it could be out of the can, the same stock type of thing, but the first question that comes, now we're off to races. They ask the question. Now I'm doing it a little bit more specific. It comes the clinic or the seminar becomes more personalized for you, and then someone else realizes, well, I'll ask a question now, and then it's like lighting a fire. It just takes off, and then I've told how I feel about politics. That most politicians don't. If you ever shake a politician's hands, it doesn't have calluses. It's manicured because they don't do hard labor type work. I still have calluses and stuff like that, and it's like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of these politicians. They need to take a couple classes and right back and get right with the people, because the Constitution starts off with "we the people,"
That's right.
not us and y'alls.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's go back to Art Davie. So you tell him, I've been all over the world. I've seen all of this.
And
what does he do?
And I said, you'd be surprised how close something like this. I mean, because he was literally ready to just
get out of
to
there.
take a walk. So
Yep.
I think he simply took a chance. But then again, as time passed on, see, I did not know certain things because he was partnering with Horian Gracie, eldest son of the Gracie clan.
Yeah.
And so if he's the matchmaker and you have your brother who's in there, are you picking out all of the best cream of the crop? Because you got your partner. He doesn't know. Again, I'm not saying this is what he done, but
Well, UFC has been huge for jiu-jitsu.
But could you lead on? Every time that Hoist won, they did not make the announcement, Hoist Gracie won. It was all commercialized that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu beats Taekwondo.
That's right.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu just beat Karate. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu just beat boxing. They were selling franchises. The Gracie family made an awful lot of money that Art Davie never saw any of.
Because they're starting up gyms all over the place.
Well, you have a gym,
But we have a Gracie. Yeah, there's Gracie gyms everywhere. Yeah.
but if you want to now put that little Gracie logo, this is how much it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Each one of those students that sign up, a certain percentage goes back to the Gracies.
Wow.
And you're paid his head. From a business perspective, I take my hat off to them. Phenomenal business plan. But they weren't buttering Art Davie's bread as well. So I look at myself as the great disruptor.
You foiled the plans.
Yes, I did.
UFC 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, again, just even in my final years, my final 4 or 5 years of competition, I wanted one more match with a Ken Shamrock, a Mark Coleman, a Hoist Gracie. Drug test us both to let people know Dan Severn will finish out his career drug-free, steroid-free. Even Hoist popped. I think when they told me that Hoist popped, I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. He popped? He must have been using the weak stuff because he didn't look like he had muscle one on himself.
Not worth it.
Yeah. But again, being a wrestler, I understand. Body, you never judge a book by its cover because,
Sure.
150 pounds can come packaged a large way. It can be short, squatty, tall, lanky, and each one has obstacles to it. Tall and lanky, they're usually more of a leg type of guy. They throw the legs in on you, and they'll stretch you right on out.
Well, Demetrius Johnson, smaller guy,
Yeah.
arguably a goat. I mean, of the whole
pound for
sport.
pound.
So,
Oh,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
man,
Yeah.
animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So totally.
So
Okay. Yeah. So the Gracies, I mean, there's no question that to have a side business or they weren't connected. UFC and Gracie gyms have no formal business relationship, but as you keep announcing, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is beating all these different fighting styles. And now Gracie Jiu-Jitsu gym opens up in your area.
Yep.
That's the one that I can see that as being, I mean, to your point, great business move.
no, it was again. That's where take my hat off to them.
And they branded it. I remember because there's Jiu-Jitsu and then there's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And I remember going, what's the difference? And I still don't know if I know the difference other than there's a name on it, which maybe that was part of the plan, you know?
That's all part of the heritage that Helio,
Sure.
who he learned some of his stuff from.
It's all
and Helio
descended
brings in. So
from-
it's like,
yeah, who
they
won.
they can show you the family tree of all their.
Okay, I still don't know. How did you get into the WWF with Vince?
Well, I'm not sure how I got.
You had Phyllis.
Well, again, I don't think she really. It was, I think, because that came after the fact of I'm already into the UFC. So I think
Yeah.
the fact that I've got notoriety off of the UFC because I ended up winning a couple of their events.
So they just give you a call one day and you're like, you're going into the pro, you're going to WWF?
They gave me a phone call in the beginning, and so I met with them once. Kind of lukewarm, not all that impressive.
Okay.
WCW finds out.
Yeah, Ted Turner.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff.
Bischoff, yeah.
So Bischoff's like going, we want him now. So they call me up. I go visit with them. And then Vince and his crew hear about this. They bring me back again, and they agreed to all my terms.
Wow. Did you enjoy pro wrestling more, or do you enjoy cage fighting more, or do you enjoy wrestling? Cage fighting.
Well, amateur wrestling.
Amateur wrestling, number one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it will always be number one to me.
Yeah, for sure.
It provided me with all the opportunities. It was that foundation, the work ethic, the mindset that carried over into all.
But even as a fighting, I guess pro wrestling isn't necessarily a fighting style, but cage fighting to wrestling, you still prefer wrestling as a fighting style. Like you had more fun.
Oh yeah,
wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, and then which was you got cage fighting and pro wrestling. Cage fighting you prefer.
Yes, because it's not predetermined. No, professional
like
wrestling,
winning.
we already know what's going to happen, how long. Because as I stated earlier, WWF, it's a well-oiled machine. The biggest merger in sports merger histories. You got the UFC and WWE underneath the same umbrella of TKO.
That's right.
What was that? $300 billion, not million, $1 billion merger. The UFC is a proven $1 billion a year commodity. It struggled in the beginning. Today, it's a well-oiled machine. There's when you look at the complex that the Fertitta brothers and Dana White basically have built. I mean, what an empire! A training complex that the athletes from around the world can come to and stay, and they learn about nutrition. I go, that's fast forward today. Who had all that way back then?
Mm.
Yeah, that was you. That was the magazines they were teaching you.
And nobody else was lying in my pocket other than myself. I ponied up everything. But like I said, learning, as you guys come in, if you're an electrician, you're a plumber, well, barter system.
Needed a room, need an addition. Yeah, run some lines for me.
Yeah. Or speaking to my Czechoslovakian dude that I understand every fifth word out of. Don't cut my head off with that song.
Have you followed the UFC closely since you left?
This is where I get myself in trouble because I'm aware usually after fact who wins, but I don't watch a lot of television to begin with.
Oh, in general.
I don't. I mean, it was growing up. We were always outside. It was a magical type place to grow up because it's like Tom Sawyer because we had two different creeks that went to our property. So fishing, hunting, but whatever the season was, we didn't actually ever look at there's actually a hunting season. We went out, if there's rabbits, raccoons, deer, it's our property. we hunted. And, when I finally went to I think it was at junior high. That was the era when you could bring your gun into school.
The gun cabinet or something.
Yeah. Well, again,
Leave it in the truck.
there's guys that would drive their pickup truck, their Ford pickup truck, and they have a gun rack.
Yeah.
And you drive that to school. You can't do that today. It's like, no, big no, because we got too many idiots in this world. But at the same token, it's supposed to be a gun-free zone. To me, it's like every teacher, part of your teacher requirement, I want you to be certified in firearms, and I want you to have a firearm in your classroom on you, so that if something goes down, whatever perpetrator just came in, I want them to be gunned down by a teacher. Again, that might sound kind of sick and twisted, but no, I think, why do people attack schools? Because it's a gun-free zone.
Hey, let's take a break for a second. That light just went out. All right, we're back. Got the lights back on.
Oh, we're back.
We're in. Yeah.
All right.
I was wondering,
Stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, exactly. Intermission without the break.
That's right.
Are there any fighters that you have watched because you were so interested in them since you left?
Well, no, I will watch a select match, but it's...
Who've been some of your favorites to watch?
Well, I mean, they talk about like the greatest heavyweight that they're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Okay, which is
the greatest heavyweight of all time?
that they're talking
John
about,
Jones is what they're saying.
Yeah, John
yeah.
Jones.
Yeah.
Again, it's John Jones is an amateur wrestler.
That's right.
I have not seen John Jones use one iota of amateur wrestling yet.
Yeah,
he's got a spinning back elbow, a spinning back fist. I mean, very creative. Don't get me wrong, but he's never showed one iota of wrestling. But he's got a good work ethic. And I gotta say, I give him kudos for when Trump was there, for after he won the match, to do the little Trump shuffle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
that was pretty comical.
Well, it's been an interesting progression in UFC, I think, because wrestling has had its ups and downs. I mean, all the different styles kind of get worked and or emphasized, and then counters are developed towards them and all of that. And I think it's becoming, I mean, with the Dagestanis, they're huge wrestlers, sambo and wrestling. And so you got Khabib and, now Islam, who's coming up with his fight.
I talked about this decades earlier. I go, in the beginning, they had Americans, Canadians, Brazilians, and a few Japanese. That was it. I go, as we stated earlier, I've been to every third world country that has ever had a wrestling program to know that I've eaten their food. I've drank their water. I've got Montezuma's revenge. I'm trying to keep the Sphinx the ring pinched down right here because I want to go blow something out the portal here right now. And I'm wrestling on this crappy mat because it's all just tied together. And I'm wrestling some of the toughest people in the world while pinching my sphincter down, and people just don't get it. They just don't get it. It's like, even when I talk about that, it's like, once the match is done, raise my hand, I'm done. I don't know where the bathrooms are, but by the stench, it's over that corner over there because I got to go. And most Americans, you're running in there, where's the toilets? I see showers, but I don't see toilets. Showers are the toilets. Because they don't have the westernized stool that you sit down on.
Yeah.
There's 2-foot pegs. You just drop drawers. And you got to hit this.
Aim.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
Now, it's okay if you're putting out a slug. But if you're putting out buckshot.
Watch out.
Yeah. And so, again, you're down in a squatted position, so you got the shakies, and you got the shitties, and then you look like, where's the toilet paper?
Right.
There is no toilet paper. They got an old rusty coffee can that's sitting there with water.
Oh, man.
That, again, you shake hands with the right hand. You dippy. Swishy, swishy, swishy. Dippy, dippy, dippy. Swishy, swishy. Okay, which is okay if you're the first guy
Yeah.
that's using the coffee can. What do you think that coffee can looks like after, half the day has gone by?
Yeah, that's not rust.
It looks worse than coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got. After my very first trip, I learned real quick make sure that you've got kaopectic and you got Pepto-Bismol because your stomach is going to get upset and you're going to have the shits.
What's your favorite country you've been to?
Well, again, I enjoyed them all.
Okay.
For different reasons.
Okay.
But I enjoy travel. But then to see how other people live. But then I bring back some of these ideas into the States as I go, you just don't realize how good we have it here right now. And we do.
Yeah, we do. I don't think people are thankful enough.
Well, again, the fact that you walked in, we turned on a light switch and electricity came on.
Totally.
There are some countries that it's like the generator's down again. The power grid is down again. They don't have cell phones. Right now, they're looking at more and more people from Africa, bringing in more the competitors from Africa and that as well. Because, or where do they want to open up the next UFC training site? Because they've got several around the world right now.
Developing talent.
Exactly. Mexico, big time into boxing. But they got a big UFC training facility down in Mexico City.
Yeah.
And they've got a couple of other places. But, to go to Dagestan, they haven't brought in, I probably shouldn't even say this publicly, but I will. They haven't brought in a Bulgarian or a Mongol yet. You heard it here, folks. Dan Severn talked about the Bulgarians and the Mongols. There has been a hate relationship for hundreds and hundreds of years. You want to see a fight? It might have been a wrestling match, but a Mongol versus a Bulgarian, you want to put them in a cage now? Oh,
wow.
That'll sell pay-per-views, and you heard it here, folks. Mongol versus a Bulgarian. But again, it's because of centuries of fighting and hatred. They just passed that from father to son to grandson. Da-da-da-da.
Have you heard any of the recent scandal going on in the UFC around fighters being paid to throw fights? Have you been following that at all?
No.
Have you ever been approached about throwing a fight?
Sure, I have.
You have?
Yes.
How many times do you think you were approached about throwing a fight and being paid to throw a fight?
Oh, at different times. Yeah,
Like 5 times, 10 times?
Oh, I'll just say a few different times.
Okay. Yeah.
But then there's other times that, depending on the opponent, I simply took it easy on him. And someone's like, oh, you threw that fight. Why is there no fight? Just because I took it easy on a guy? I go, this guy's only going to make $1,000 to show up here.
Yeah.
If I pulverize him, he's got to go back to work. He can't go back to work if his flipper's hanging off like this, his neck's twisted off on this way. I go easy on people I know that I don't have. It's not going to be a tough night on me. So, but I've been opposed. I've been approached on a different times. There's a couple times I did do work matches.
You did work matches?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I got paid.
Oh, okay.
Paid to take it easy on the guy.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Not to throw it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like going, I'll pay you. Take it easy on me.
Don't rough them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got no problem with that. I'll make a few extra bucks.
Sure. The outcome's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, like Travis Fulton. Okay. He's long gone. Okay. But Travis Fulton, he actually holds the record for the most cage fights, period. Boxing matches. He had kind of, but again, he's probably not a great name to bring on up because he's no longer alive, a much younger person than what I am, and he basically ended up going to prison, and he was found hanging in his cell. So, but again, I'll let you guys do your own research on that one. But I fought Travis on a couple of different occasions. There was like, and a couple were like these hillbilly biker type of things that he put on, and just like there's no pay-per-view or stuff like that. So it's like old-fashioned professional wrestling. We simply know who's going to win and roughly how long. Just put on an entertaining fight that looks like a fight.
Go be entertaining.
Yeah.
And
And that's what it was. And then, but I had a fight where with him where the promoter accused me of throwing the fight, which again, I won, but he's like, Travis never threw an overhand right, and he's known for throwing an overhand right. And the promoter asked me, I go, why are you asking me? Why don't you go ask Travis Fulton? He's the one that, I don't know why he's not throwing an overhand right. Well, it turns out he had broken his hand a couple weeks earlier. He needed the money. So he didn't tell the promoter, didn't tell me, which again, I don't care, because I'm not friends with Travis. We're just, this was at the point where we're just fighting each other. But then when I had to fight him again after the fact there, I tore him up so bad, I sent both him and his wife to the hospital. Now, you got to be wondering, what did Dad do to his wife? Nothing. I didn't even know she was there. But she was there. She was like 7 or 8 months along pregnant. Because she sees what I'm doing to her husband. It's putting stress, and she went into premature
She went into labor.
Yes. So it's not like Dad sounds a pretty damn bad man, send husband and wife teams to the hospital. No, I didn't even know she was there. But, she did not, they would calm her down, stuff like that, and the child was born, later on time and stuff like that. But it's a pretty comical story, I think.
Who else do you keep in touch with, like Don Fry, any others from sort of that era?
I mean, it's, I've reached out a little bit more late. If you could be a fly on the wall and just watch me throughout the course of the day, I'm a one-man machine.
Yeah.
It's
evident. Yeah.
It's like I wake up early and I'm on my laptop. I've had lots of laptop issues to the point that I've got a brand new laptop, but in the process of all the downloads, stuff like that, it somehow brought back a couple of different other computers that were long away toasted, but I have a lot more people in my contact base now.
Yeah.
But I'm still dealing with 2 different email addresses, actually 3 different email addresses. There's IT stuff that I know you guys understand a little bit more, but I don't. I'm Neanderthal man that would never invented the laptop or computer in general.
So
but construction and food, all that, yes, I could.
So how often are you staying in touch with Don Fry?
Oh, I'll touch base with him a couple times a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That regular.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it just I'm concerned about him, so that's why I like to stay in contact there with him. Plus, I was doing a podcast there with him as well, and that's something that we'd like to continue. And I know when I get out there, that probably once a month I'll probably drive down to his place again just to hang out with him all day and probably spend the night down at his place, and then razz him a few more times. Then he'll probably just kick my ass off his property, and there you go. I served my purpose.
What was it like getting into the UFC Hall of Fame?
I'll just say, nice. Again, I don't know if that's even. It's nice to be recognized for your achievements. The first time I ever got put into a Hall of Fame, I was put into Arizona State's Hall of Fame. And I kept thinking, I go, well, don't you have to be done with your sport?
Don't you have to be done doing it?
I mean, I go, I'm done wrestling for ASU, but I'm not done wrestling. And it's like, well, but then it's like, okay, well, sure, I'll go do it. So I end up being put in their Hall of Fame. So that was my very first one. And again, I could fast forward to today, couldn't even tell you. I mean, either have 20 Hall of Fames that I'm in and 30 championship belts, or 30 Hall of Fames and 20 championship belts. I just had to do a recount. I just don't want to take the time out to do it.
Does it come with any perks being in the UFC Hall of Fame? Like, could you get tickets to any match, or could you get what happens there?
As long as you put in your prerequisite far enough out.
Okay.
For example, like the big thing that's coming up in 2026 is the UFC White House show, which my better half really would like to go, because she would like to meet Trump if at all possible.
Okay. Did you put in a note? Did you put in a request?
Yes, I put in a couple of different requests, but the thing is, that's going to be one of those.
That's a big one.
That's going to be, that everyone's going to be, but okay. Now, the alter ego part of Dan Severn is thinking this. If something was going to go wrong,
Yeah.
What show better to have something go wrong at? Because you
Sure.
already had someone take a pot shot at Trump before. You see what happened with Charlie Kirk at that day. So public events are getting a little bit scarier for people
A little dicey.
with strong opinions about things.
Yeah.
All
So-
the more reason for a guy like you to be there to protect the president, really.
Well,
The beast.
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, he's got so much security around him. But and again, I know that should be top notch. But that'll be also one of those events that everybody, their brother, mother, aunt, uncle
Of
will
course.
be trying to get into. As I go, I put in a couple requests. I haven't heard anything back here. It's like crickets, because they all know that it's going to be the who's who of political leaders and things of that nature that will be there, and probably only so many. There's not going to be an audience really
Yeah.
for that, because it's all going to be just
Everything's handpicked.
Yeah.
For sure.
yeah. For
Did
that
you ever
one.
meet Trump when you were in the
No.
WWF?
No,
Nothing
no,
like
no,
that.
no, no. I know he's been different shows, stuff like that, but no.
Are any of your
Again,
kids?
I'd like to.
Are any of your kids into it? Because I would imagine if they're into UFC, you could go with them to
Well-
watch or anything like that.
As I stated earlier, I kept them in the dark. They did not know what Dad did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I left, Dad's
At work.
a traveling businessman. That's all they knew. Dad's gone for the weekend. He's working. I kept it like that until my oldest son, Michael, at the time, I forget what grade he's in, probably fourth, fifth grade, something like that, and maybe a little bit older than that. One of his friends brought in a magazine. It's kind of like, they're in the class, and one of his friends bring in a magazine, and it's a professional magazine. And as they're flipping the magazine, it's like, that's my dad. And the teacher was right there, and even the teacher was like, sure, Michael, that's your father. Well, show and tell was a few days later, and I was show and tell. And because even the teacher said, he goes, I didn't believe that. I go, well, his last name is Severn. I mean, there might have been a little innuendo that
Little
maybe, but it's like, again, that was the comical thing. I was show and tell. Now, another comical story was that I had my first action figure that came out. And so, again, my oldest son, he was into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's like, he's, so on the little kitchen table there, I put out all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff, and I threw my action figure into the pile. And he's down there, and he's eating his Cheerios or whatever. He's eating his breakfast, and he's still crash bang booming. I'm going there sitting down. I go, Michael, I see Raphael, I see Donatello, stuff like that. I go, who's this guy right there? And he looks like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, that, and I'm holding right next to my face. Doesn't he look like anybody you know at all? He looks like me. He looks over his head. He's like, no. Like, well, there was used to be a show, Art Linklater, and he used to say, kids say they're down to say, they're like, kids are honest though.
That's right.
He did not. It's like, I like going, whoop de doo down, toss the action figures. I go, go back out, go to work.
So you didn't get any of your kids into wrestling or fighting when they were young?
Amateur wrestling, again, for the girls, they didn't have amateur wrestling at that time. So, but they all got involved in volleyball, basketball, track, and the boys, again, my oldest son, basketball player. I never forced any of my kids to go and follow Dad's footsteps. And as you see out there, I've got a couple of different basketball hoops. And I actually have all the orange cones. So I simply knew how to put together drills. Okay, dribble with your left hand, dribble with your right hand, pass the ball back and forth. Okay, shoot from here, all kinds of stuff. I used to go out there and play pig with my kids. I sucked at basketball, and they usually always beat me. But I'd still try to do a little bit of that bonding type of time there with them. Same way with baseball. When they first did T-ball, like you had the T-ball thing, and then whacking them there and stuff like that, and then got to the point where you're playing catch, and I got a big enough yard where it's my baseball diamond, it's my football field. My better half wanted to put different types of trees, stuff like that. I go, no, that's my football field, that's my baseball diamond, that's all, everything. Soccer, because I got all the equipment to play all these different games. Plus, I held camps here, so like they're not good if it's a beautiful day outside. Because I probably was one of the first people that I took the people outside towards like I think about over to like a sand volleyball court. I did this when I had my home in Owasso, Michigan. I was renting these small little campuses, a college campus, because they're not in business in the summertime, so I could get a dormitory and get a meal pass for each kid, and then take them outside and to the sand volleyball court. So I said, okay, come on, guys, let's head on out to the sand volleyball court. Kick off your wrestling shoes, take your socks off, take the shirt off. Let's get a little bit of that vitamin D on these bodies, stuff like that. They're out there, and I go, come on, I had one of the guys out there, and I'm showing a few techniques, and then I foot sweep it, boom, knocked him down into the sand. And he's like, he got shocked and look back at me. I go, what's the matter? You going to stay down there? We can come up there and go, come get some. And like, he comes right back at me again, something like that. And like, and I take down. I fall down into the sand, stuff like that. Okay, and I had a couple groups. It was a blast because I had them out there wrestling in sand. And then there was like this little lake area then okay, let's all kick off your shoes, your socks, stuff like that. Just jump in the lake, get all the sand and grit off you at that point. So I did things a little bit more unorthodox, but nobody else was doing stuff at that time. I even ran a camp where I showed them how to throw people in the water. It's easier to do a belly to back or a ladder drop and then just make a big splash because it's water. I mean, everyone wrestles in water. Right? That's at one point, especially if there are other wrestlers. Come on, it happens.
Let me ask you, if you were going to be a wrestler that wanted to transition to UFC, what's something you learned about striking that every wrestler should know?
Well, I should have just killed that altogether.
Well, you're gonna have to pay the price for that later.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. I mean, it's one more time.
Yeah, for wrestlers who are going to get into UFC, because I know you transitioned to striking.
If you talk about if wrestlers going to get into it today,
the mixed martial arts, if they're going to go from just wrestling to full mixed martial arts, because you had to go in and learn striking after wrestling.
Yeah, well, it's can they do that? Sure, they can. I mean, the wrestling is a great foundation. It gives you that work ethic and mindset. Well, they're not going to go right to a UFC in the first place. So they'll start off going into some little local regional type of a deal right there. They'll have to slowly go up some progression. Even look at the UFC itself. They have the Ultimate Fighter show, and even in the beginning, I think the two of the greatest fighters they brought out there, you had Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner. The final match of that. I mean, it was a slobber knocker of a fight. And instead of giving out one contract, both guys got contracts to go and work for the UFC. So it was a kind of a cool, big deal.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you ever have any interactions with Dan Gable? Yeah. What kind of interactions did you have with him?
Again, the Iowa wrestling team. I mean, Dan Gable. I mean, is a legend in the sport of amateur wrestling. He just did things that nobody else had ever done before at that time. Different people now have eclipsed that. When you look at what Chael Sonnen and a few of these other wrestlers, because it just seems like every few years the whole sport gets upgraded a little bit more because they're starting them at younger ages, and they're putting them into tougher competitions at younger ages, and just you got the cell phone is there. You've got the world at your fingertips. All these encyclopedias that you can be looking up for techniques and tactics and eating tips and on and on and on. And I can also study you. I can pull up different film onto you. And so I got everything at my fingertips.
It's much more than just the amateur wrestling magazines.
Yes.
From the earlier days.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's cool.
Out of all your fighting, who hit the hardest?
I've been hit. Mark Coleman hit me a couple times. I got hit by. I've been hit by other people. Whereas I'm trying to think what match I was in that where I got hit so hard that I'm seeing three people, and I'm like going, go for the guy in the center. The other two don't exist. Go for the guy in the center. But it's like that big gong.
But this has been so. Yeah. This is.
Well, I want to ask.
Even like the MMA company. Danger zone.
I like that.
Danger zone, because again, it was no holds barred. But I actually had rules for amateurs and pros. As an amateur, I actually had a set rules in progression. If it's your first match, you're still in a cage because I have a cage. That yellow truck out there's a cage in there, and I go if you're within your first 5 matches, the only thing allowed to touch the pumpkin. I always refer to the head as the pumpkin. The only thing that can touch the pumpkin is the hand, whether it be open, close, spinning back fists, don't care, hammer strike. Only thing that touches the pumpkin is the hand. No kicks, no knees. Okay? Matches 6 through 10, I will allow a standing head kick. Because how many people can throw a standing head kick?
Not many.
No. So again, I'm
Sure.
I'm giving you a chance to season yourselves. Because I gave a great thought. First 5 matches, only a hand to the pumpkin. Up to 10 matches, okay, throw the head kick, knowing that very few people, so it gives you got 10 matches under your belt. Now 11 through 15, I now allow like an elbow strike to the head. The last thing I gave you is the knee, because the knee, biggest, heaviest weapon. It's like being hit with a sledgehammer.
It's deadly.
So.
Well, you said that you're in the 3rd quarter of life.
Yes.
What do you see for Dan Severn in the 3rd and 4th quarter of life?
Well, again, I don't know if we caught that on tape early, but my own ways I have this goal of going to 125 is really what my goal is. So again, I might be just ready for a good midlife crisis. That's all I'm ready for.
You're shooting for 125.
Yes, at 125, and this will maybe sound a little bit crazy, maybe comical, but then I think I will have my life taken tragically and suddenly by a jealous husband. Now, granted, at 125, she'll be a much younger woman.
That's right.
Yeah.
She might be in her 90s.
Right.
But I saw her putting on orthodontic stockings. I saw life. Yeah. But again, it's all about, it's kind of like comedy. It's how you perceive life. Too many people, most people don't realize what a kind of a warp, sick, twisted sense of humor I have. But I like it.
I think it's great. I mean, you both are like the beast and are incredibly disciplined and a one-man show. And at the same time, you don't seem to take yourself too seriously.
No.
And that is a great balance.
I don't know if there's ever truly a balance. I do. I have a tendency of talking to myself, and I do answer myself. I get into some quarrels at times.
I just read a study that said they tried to study what would bring down anxiety the most, and they were studying all of these different factors. And the one factor that showed the biggest decrease in anxiety for people is talking to yourself out loud. Actually, your voice, just talking about whatever you're going through or whatever out loud, actually has a response in the brain that brings yourself down. So
trust me, I get, especially as I'm driving, I let people know, you idiot over here. And this is like the cell phone I've witnessed more accidents because of the cell phone. That people are, it's like, move. I see people just like beep, 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 and they look, what are you doing? It's like going, oh, dude, you're not aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, I think it's great that you're talking to yourself then. I mean, it helps it actually has this natural response in the brain.
What about those other 4 voices I hear in my head?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
They didn't study those ones. We don't know the effects of those.
All right.
They didn't report in.
So what does your day currently look like? You told us you have 3,000 emails right now.
Well, yeah. Well, that's just a computer glitch that this too shall pass.
Yeah.
So it's like, it'll take me a few weeks to get them all whittled back down again, but I'll get them whittled down. But no, my day is, well, again, I live kind of a split type life because I'm in Michigan for spring, summer, fall. Then I had to back up to Arizona. No, but that only came about because of COVID.
Oh, okay. It's new.
You got to be thinking about, because most people can't remember COVID. This Americans so soon to forget. It's like, no, you have to learn and you have to educate yourself so that when something happens again, what did we learn from this last one?
Yeah.
What should be happening? Because COVID virus was such a specialized type of a virus because Americans, we were putting down pieces of tape 5 feet apart from each other. So if you're at a grocery store, something like that, or any kind of a store, you had to stay 5 feet apart because these are not really good. The germs are not very athletic. They can't jump beyond 5 feet. So as long as you're 5 feet ahead, and every now and then I had to pull my cell phone and take a picture because I was creeping over the 5-foot line. I'm like, I'm cheating today. I stepped across the line. Watch out. Okay. But then if you went to the restaurant, you had to wear a mask from the front door over to your table that you sit down to. And once you sit down at your table,
that's right.
It's a COVID-free zone. You can take off your mask now and eat, drink, party, carry on, even though there's a table right next to you. It's like going, the COVID germ was like, could only be at the entrance of a restaurant, but could not go all the way over to the table.
That's right.
It was not a very smart germ.
You said you're in the third quarter. What advice would you give to somebody who's kind of at the end of their first quarter, maybe beginning of their second quarter, and they're looking forward in life? What sort of focus do you think they should have, or what would you tell them to focus on?
But again, it's how do you want to live your life? Well, because if you're in the second half, okay, if you're in that because you're looking at that middle, because it's like, are you married? Do you have kids? There's a lot of other questions I would be asking. Are you married at this point in time? Do you have children? How old are the children? Because there seems like some people out there, we have more of a tendency to wait a little bit later in life now to start having kids because they're trying to get their lives figured out a little bit more on the work and saving up and things of that nature. So there's a lot of different factors. Even when I talk to like an MMA guy, he wants to train MMA and stuff like that. I'm like, how old are you? Where do you work? Do you actually have a real job in the first place? Does this job have health benefits? Because odds are you're going to get hurt somewhere along the line and you better have some health benefits. Are you salting any money away? I mean, I ask them so many different questions that I guarantee it is not on a normal interview in the first place, but it's like, you got to be thinking ahead of time. As I stated earlier, in my training facility, back into the kitchen area, stuff like that. The fact that how I set up these tables with these bank of 4 electrical outlets that are right there, so that there could be a desk lamp at each one, so that not all the floodlights have got to be on. That's bothering other people. You can't be playing music and stuff like that, because there's other people that are in there. You got to be conscientious of other people. It's not just all about you. Mm-hmm. But I go, you have to know, you have to plan ahead. I had my financial planners come into them. I had my nutritionists come in there and speak to them because they hear enough from me. I need them to hear it from a few other people. So that if you hear it from enough people, it's like going, oh, must be something to this because I'm hearing it from so many other people. You can only be young for so long, and then you're going to turn old.
That's right.
And you'd be surprised how quickly it comes up.
Yeah.
You blink. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I really appreciate you letting us come in and chat with you. This is one of the coolest conversations I think we've ever had. So, and in one of the coolest venues we've ever gotten to do this in. So you've done some amazing things. And I like I said, I remember being 10, 11, and 12 years old, watching you on UFC, and I can't believe I got to talk to you today. So thanks for taking the time with us. It was awesome.
Well, again, it's all part about the education. Just think of it as that. As I told people before, I actually have a teaching degree from Arizona State University, industrial arts. But I was like going, most of those industrial arts teachers, they're missing an appendage, right there. Watch out for that table saw. It'll get you every time.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
But I still have all the appendages. So
Dan, I also wanted to say thank you. And I want to ask you, is there anything that Michiganders might wonder about you that you've never revealed before? Just for the locals.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what I'm Michigan born. Well, I'll say that my people that I went to school with always get mad that they always say that you're from Coldwater, Michigan. I go, because that's what they asked me. Where do I live? I go, at the time that I was entering the States, I live in Coldwater, Michigan. Because I had such a a great history of amateur wrestling from Montrose, Michigan. It's like they think these days you should always be saying Montrose. But when they go, but if I tell the mailman that I live in Montrose, I'll never get any mail down here in Coldwater now, will I?
That's right.
So I have to tell them where I live. This is where I live.
That's awesome.
I cut my start from Montrose. Having a coach like a Tom Castile that, as I stated, physically he wasn't what you picture as a great motivational coach, but he was a phenomenal motivated type of coach. He made you want to run through a brick wall for him. He just had that kind of a personality to him.
I have no doubt you've done the same for a lot of young men as well.
Again, just last weekend, running a little private class right over there. I had a father that had his cell phone out, videotape, because I go say, well, you could. I go, here's a clipboard if you want to take any notes. He goes, you can't probably just videotape it. I go, yeah, I guess it's just a more modern way of taking notes. So why not?
That's right.
That's cool. All right. Well, thanks, Dan.
That's a
really
wrap.
appreciate it.
Thank
That's
you.
a wrap. See you, everybody.